What's going on, everybody? This is JVB with the post-game report. I don't have the crew with me because, quite frankly, I'm recording a little earlier than expected. I don't feel too hot. We waited till today to record because there was a PlayStation stream going on, and they showed a few games, mostly for the PlayStation 4. A lot of them are indie games. They showed some VR games. I believe, all three of the first Hitman game are going to be in virtual reality. So that's going to be cool. There's going to be a Darth Vader game that was available already on PC and I believe maybe the Google Stadia or Google VR, whatever they call it. And then they showed a few PlayStation 5 games, one called Bug Snacks and the other some little Battle Royale type game that looks like it belongs on a Nintendo Switch, which is going to attract a large crowd. Now, the one thing about Sony, and it's called State of Play that they were streaming on YouTube today. One thing about Sony is that we know that they continue to support their consoles even though they go into a new generation of console. So the PlayStation 5 is coming out later on this year, and Sony is still announcing games for the PlayStation 4. And it's a variety of games. It's not just big third-party titles or big AAA titles. It's a different type of game for different type of gamers. So there's variety, and you have your blockbusters and your indies. All good stuff for PlayStation. And that is why they are the market leader. Now, speaking of the Nintendo Switch, they announced that they've sold 60 plus million Nintendo Switch consoles. That's freaking insane when you consider that there are a lot of people talking about the console war and specs. So there's this big spec narrative going on. People are talking about teraflops and the ray tracing and all this stupid shit that has nothing to do with the enjoyment of playing video games. And Nintendo Switch is proof of that. It is the weakest of the three consoles, yet it has sold a shit ton of units, and they don't even spit out games like Sony does. So that's just an indication that there is a specific niche that sticks to Nintendo, and even though the games might not look up to par with an Xbox or a PlayStation, people still enjoy what Nintendo gives them. And Nintendo does not stray away from it, and they don't even talk about specs. Unfortunately, Xbox is stuck in the olden days talking about specs as if they are a PC. So this is not a full episode, as I stated before. I'm solo. It's not going to even be a long episode at that. Now, I'm dealing with TBI, traumatic brain injury. So I have my days. I have my days where I'm really creative and I'm motivated, and I have days where I'm angry or I'm sad. So today has been like a combination of all three, where all of a sudden I'm really tired. So that's why I'm not recording with the guys. And I'm really irritated, yet I'm calm. So I guess it's like the eye of a storm or the eye of a hurricane. It gets really quiet and then shit picks back up. So me knowing myself the way I do, I think it's best that I don't deal with different personalities right now on PGR, because who knows? Maybe with this heat, I might snap and get another legendary scenario where I just shut off the podcast during an episode. And I had a good laugh because Derek reminded us about that in the chat. So I plan to do some different things for PGR. I know I say that a lot, but I plan to do, at least until the next generation consoles are officially launched, like Xbox One or Xbox Series X, there's something going on there. They haven't showed anything with the Xbox Series X, no games running on it. There's all types of rumors that certain features are not going to be included in various games, and then we saw what happened with Halo Infinite. It didn't look that good, and then there's finger pointing everywhere. So I have a weird feeling that the Xbox Series X is not as ready as Xbox is telling us that it is. So who knows? There might be a delay. Maybe that's why Microsoft and Sony are trying to figure out who's going to reveal the pricing first or an official release date. The thing that people don't take into consideration is that there's manufacturing issues everywhere. Even Apple is being, there's a rumor with Apple where they're saying that the new phones might be delayed because of manufacturing issues. We're in a current crisis. There's a virus going around. So not everyone is fully not every business is fully operational. So there's going to be issues. That goes with the PlayStation 5 as well. There might be limited quantities available, or there might be components that aren't as massively manufactured for both consoles. So as soon as there's a pre-order for any one of these, regardless of which console you're a fan of, you better run and get that shit as soon as possible and forget your friends. Don't tell your friends, don't tell your family that the pre-orders are up. Be selfish, grab one, and then let them know. It's very similar to the way Apple and Nintendo operate. But this time around, Apple and Nintendo aren't doing it on purpose. There's going to be real issues with manufacturing and the way these consoles are going to be delivered and the quantity that's going to be available to us. Back again to PGR, as I was stating before I went on this fucking rant about manufacturing issues. I wanna split the episodes into different themes. So let's say week 1 is video games, week 2 may be more based around geek culture, movies, cartoons, or action figures, whatever the hell, and then maybe continue with the interview series that I started doing with different people who aren't part of the PGR community or people you've never heard of before. And then maybe on the fourth week, maybe do a solo show or open it up for any type of content. Maybe even have Neff on and we could do politics. Who knows? Also, I want to talk about something that's going on social networks, specifically YouTube and Twitter. And those are the two platforms where content creators really hang out. So we're talking about podcasters and YouTube video content creators. And there's this notion from a specific group of people that things are anti-consumer. And in this case, it's Sony. It's the PlayStation brand, because Sony came out and said that the PlayStation 4 controller will work on the PlayStation 5 if you're using backwards compatible games, meaning a PlayStation 3 game, or most likely a PlayStation 4 game. And that the PlayStation 4 or the DualShock 4 controller will not work for PlayStation 5 games. And people are pissed off about this. Granted, it's people who don't own or who don't plan to buy a PlayStation 5, but they're making a big stink because it's going to get them clicks, it's going to get them views, and some people really don't care whether those clicks and views are for the right reasons, as long as they get the attention. Then the other thing is that there are a group of people who are pushing this narrative that Xbox Game Pass is going to be the future of video games. But they don't specify how is the future. They just say it's the future of video games. So does that mean that streaming is the future and physical hardware and software is no longer going to exist? Exactly when is this future going to take place? And if the future of video games is streaming, what happens with cable providers or cell phone providers? Like, how is this data from both companies, whether cell phone or cable, how is this data going to be unified so that everyone can enjoy streaming video games equally, like without discrepancies because I can have 100 megabytes of upload speed or download speed, and someone could have 1,000. Someone could have 50. So how is that consumer friendly in itself, right? That has to be regulated. Data speeds need to be regulated. There needs to be something that states everyone gets a minimum of 50 megabytes, no matter where you live. Excuse me. And right now, that's not possible. It's not possible. Or it's not financially possible because we know that mobile providers and cable providers are very money hungry. How many channels do you pay for you don't even watch? And you're paying a significant amount of money unnecessarily. So Game Pass, or any streaming service for that matter, would have to be the future, let's say, in 20 years. In 20 years, I'll be 68. Maybe I'll be into video games, maybe I won't. So I won't give a crap. But people make these statements, right, that Game Pass is the future. But they don't explain why. They don't put any substance behind their statements. And that's pretty childish, of course. But as soon as you approach these people with a legitimate question, they call you a console war soldier or a troll. They'll make statements like, you're too old to be doing these console wars or whatever. But it's just a simple question. And then there's another crowd. They say that it's too expensive to buy video games and that Game Pass is a way to save money, play games, and not have to worry about spending money on games and controllers, things of that sort. I grew up on welfare, okay? I grew up not only owning all the consoles, all the games. I bought Lees when Lees were played out. And that's a true story. I couldn't afford everything. To this day, I can't afford everything. I'm into technology. I'm very fortunate that I own certain things that some people can't afford that are into the same hobby I'm into. In this case, video games, photography, things of that sort. So I'm very thankful for that because I appreciate it. But at the same time, I worked my ass off for it. I saved up money. And at times, you know what? I had to put the credit card and put myself in some financial binds because when we use credit cards, we kind of forget about the interest rate. So as I got older, I got a little smarter with my money. And now that I'm smarter with my money, I realized that there's a group of people out there who are so selfish, childish, and inconsiderate because they expect a company like Sony, who's been throwing out some killer games, especially this year, 2020. In the last few months, we've had The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. So they expect Sony to put their games, these huge titles, behind a $15 a month paid subscription. And we see what happened, or is what happening with Microsoft. They're doing it now. And right now, until they prove that they can bring out a AAA title that is in the same atmosphere as The Last of Us 2, if they could bring a game like that out and put it behind Game Pass, then I'll change my mind. If you notice, Madden is never in Game Pass. Neither is NBA 2K, Call of Duty. Those games are not going to be in Game Pass until they're 4, 5, 6 years old. And then EA has their own streaming service, and it sucks. They don't even put Madden in there on day one. And that's the difference. PlayStation Now is on the PlayStation side. It has 800 or so games available. You could pay $60 a year. And that's PlayStation Now. Game Pass, you got to pay $180 a year. It includes Xbox Live, xCloud, and Game Pass. But that's $180 a year. So if you're into one game, and for me it would be Halo Infinite, I'm paying $180 just to own, well, not own, because I'm not going to own the game, to rent Halo Infinite. Okay? That's per year. Because quite frankly, Microsoft has not proven that besides Halo, there are titles that I should jump to the Xbox brand for. Now, I own Xbox consoles, but I'm not going to buy a Series X because Halo Infinite works on the Xbox One X. Well, not X, I don't own an X. On the Xbox One, I own the original one. So it's supposed to work, and it looks visually like it is going to work on the original Xbox. So why should I spend money on an upgrade? I shouldn't. So what I'll do is maybe I'll purchase a 1 month pass to Game Pass, which is, the ultimate is $15. Play Halo Infinite online for a month. If it's good, maybe I'll pay the 3-month Xbox Gold subscription or the 1 month. Who knows? But in my opinion, it's not worth it. Anyway, so based on what's currently going on with Game Pass and what's to come with Game Pass, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for people to say, and it's baffling when people say that it's the future of gaming, not the future of Xbox, the future of gaming. If they would have said it's the future of Xbox, then of course, yeah, that's the future of Xbox, no doubt about it. But to say it's the future of gaming, now you're making a statement that is quite frankly ludicrous. And I'm going to use a fancy word. Ludicrous. And especially if they don't have any basis behind that statement. Just because music has gone digital, but as you can see, people are buying vinyl still. My son has a vinyl player with a vinyl album. People are buying physical DVDs because they have Blu-ray players. Even though there's 4K streaming, it still doesn't look as good as a physical Blu-ray 4K player. So there's still a need for physical content, and people still enjoy buying a physical console so that they can pick it up at the store, take it home, set it up. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like that experience when you first buy a brand new console and you set it up and you play it and you just sit there in awe of the next generation. So hopefully we can experience that with the new Xbox coming up. I know I'm not, so I'm going to have to wait. If I ever buy the brand new Xbox, I said I wasn't going to buy the X, and now they're discontinuing it. The Xbox One X, that is. The Series X, we'll see. It's a powerful machine, but right now the content is not there yet. And they even admitted that it's going to take a few years before their content is available from the new studios, which is fair, and we'll see. We'll see what happens when Xbox Series X get some content. But until then, I'm going to be playing some PlayStation 5, that's for sure. It's all about history. It's all about what a company has done for me as a consumer. And the PlayStation brand has done its thing. It has treated me right, just like the Xbox 360 at one point. So anyway, yeah, so you have those group of people right now occupying all of the social networks, making videos, making podcasts, being chummy with the big bosses. And then here's the other thing, right? Spider-Man is going to be exclusive in the next Avengers game that's coming out on Xbox and PC and PlayStation. Spider-Man is exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Now, of course, there's a Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 4 right now. And then Miles Morales is launching with the PlayStation 5. So it kind of makes sense that Spider-Man will be an exclusive character in the game. People are complaining about that, bitching about exclusivity. Now, exclusivity is a fucking thing. It's bad. Meanwhile, the same people who are bitching are quick to promote that they have early review copies. They're quick to promote that they have exclusive interviews that no other website or YouTube channel has. Those are the same people bitching about exclusivity, yet I don't see any of them promoting that everyone should get a review copy of some of the big titles that have released this year. None of them do it. None of them are saying, hey, you know what? You gave me a gaming chair. Why don't you give every website a gaming chair? It's only right. I didn't see that happening. I didn't see people going to preview games early with Ubisoft. I didn't see them complaining that everybody else should go. Why did they do it? Because they want their website or podcast or YouTube channel to stand out, to have something that puts them in the forefront of everyone's attention. And that is exactly why with PlayStation and Nintendo, you have some historic franchises that people love. And of course, on Xbox, you have Halo, Gears of War at one time. So these are what people want to see. They want to see those big familiar names, and then they want to see new and interesting franchises appear in between. So, for example, we had The Last of Us 2 come out, and then Ghost of Tsushima, a brand new IP, a samurai game by Sucker Punch, and people were like, especially me, I was like, let's see how this turns out. Let's see those review scores, see what people say when they buy it. Man, I love that game. So, we're not getting that from Xbox. We get Forza, Gears, Halo, and then in between is like stuff that is aimed towards Game Pass, aimed towards being upgradable with patches, and then it might not be expensive to own. It might be a $30 game, but you know what? It's an incomplete game, and then it's aimed towards multiplayer. Like Sea of Thieves is multiplayer. Crackdown is aimed at multiplayer. Halo's going to have a free-to-play multiplayer option. So all these games are aimed at multiplayer, and so they're incomplete, and they'll be fixed along the way. Kind of like what Destiny has done, Fortnite, things like that. We're getting, on the PlayStation side, epic experiences that are unique to everyone who plays it. The Last of Us, who the hell would have expected that we'd have a new character that people are going crazy over? People are cosplaying Abby. People want an Abby game, a game centered around Abby. That's crazy when you consider that there's two likable characters in Ellie and Joel, and now we have Abby. So, and Tommy. Tommy was a likable character or a cool character. So, it's just the experiences and the history. So, I know that PlayStation is going to, based on history, is going to provide content that I'm going to enjoy with the PlayStation 5. So, it's Nintendo whenever they decide to bring out a new console. And Microsoft, unfortunately, after all this time, because they're no longer rookies in this game, after all this time, they're still trying to find themselves. And it seems like they have. And people just got to accept it. They're going to be more of a service-based type of console maker or software maker, and then eventually their services will be in multiple platforms. It's going to be available, xCloud is going to be available on Samsung phones, not on Apple. It's going to be on PCs, it's going to be on all types of devices. And down the road, when that becomes, let's say that structure becomes a little more stable, then maybe they drop the console market. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to break out. You guys take care. Let us know what you think, either on Twitter, iTunes, or Facebook. And next week, we'll have the entire staff. Well, I say that all the fucking time. The reality is I'll have one or two people on, like always. So you guys take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye.